Alrighty guys, so today hopefully you guys have already watched my intro to Amate painting, and I hope you guys are enjoying our unit on Latin America. I know I really love this part of the world. I love Latin American art. I don't know why it is my favorite. Actually, I do know why it's my favorite. I love the bright colors. I love that a lot of Latin American art uses things from nature, like plants and animals and suns. I just really love that type of art. I love bright colors. I love using things from nature to create art, and so I think that's probably why I like it so very much. So today, if you have it, you are going to want a brown piece of paper. And honestly, if I could here at school, if I had enough, I would use brown paper bags, because honestly, brown paper bags work better for this project than brown paper does. So if you have a brown grocery bag, or maybe next time you are at like Let Banks or Jeans, ask for paper instead of plastic. Even just one bag will work. And what you're going to want to do is take that brown paper bag and you are going to draw your design on it. And I am actually probably, I have a brown paper bag that I've been saving for this. And I forgot about it until I was talking to you right now. So I have a brown piece of paper in front of me, but I think next week for the painting step, when I show you guys the painting step, I'm going to actually just show you with the brown paper bag instead, because it turns out way cooler. So if you have brown paper, that's fine. If you have a brown paper bag, that turns out, I think, pretty sweet. Okay. One tip I'm going to give you guys, I have found if your paper is dark, a white colored pencil works best, but if you can see your design just fine with a regular drawing pencil, that's fine with me too. So your drawing is going to need a few different elements. One of those elements is that it is going to need a border. And a lot of my students, I was surprised today, did not know what a border meant. And I guess it's probably my fault, because we don't really do borders in my class very much. We usually just draw our designs and they don't have borders. So what a border is kind of like a frame that goes around the edge of your picture. And it can be designs, it can be patterns, it can be lines. I had a lot of students today that just did basic straight lines around, and that's fine. I had some students that did really fancy borders, and that is just fine too. There really is no like right or wrong way to do a border, at least for this project. It is really just whatever looks good to you. So I think for my border, I'm going to keep it fairly simple. I think I'm going to do just a basic frame outline. And if you have a ruler and you'd rather make sure that your lines are straight, I completely understand that, and I'm okay with that. But I'm going to freehand it for those of you guys who do not have rulers, so you do not feel bad if your lines are not perfect, because mine aren't either. Okay, so that's my basic border. Now I think, because this is an Amate drawing, you learned that a lot of Amate drawings are of things from the natural world, right? So from nature. So plants and animals are kind of our subject for today. So I think I'm going to do some cool, just like swirly lines and patterns. These S shapes we learned are important. So I think I'm going to do some S shapes down the sides. Do it down this side and down this side. Sorry for the weird knocking sound. I have this new thing that mounts my camera, but it doesn't really work for being in the center, so it kind of makes all my stuff like off center. So I'm using this whiteboard, so I have a hard surface, but then it kind of wiggles around on me. Okay, then, trying to think what kind of shape I want to do. I probably should have thought about this before I pressed play on this video here. So I think I'll do little leaf shapes. Kind of like leaf shapes, because I like leaves, and I think it'll work good for our nature plan. So I think I'll do a leaf circle pattern. And then I'll repeat that pattern down at the bottom. And this will look way cooler once it's painted. You don't have to go crazy with details because we are going to be painting these later. So I might add more details later, but I think that's going to be good for now. Okay, so then the other thing that your drawing needs is some sort of animal. And like I said in the video, a lot of Amate drawings are of birds, and a lot of the Amate drawings have like an S design or S pattern or C-shaped patterns. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to do kind of an S-shape plant maybe to start out my design. So I will go ahead and just have that weave through my design, and that is going to be my plant, kind of a viney looking thing with some leaves coming off. And I'm just going to add a couple leaves. Okay, then up here I want a bird. So let's see, let's have my bird's tail kind of coming down this direction. I'm gonna have those C shapes to kind of connect my tail, and it's gonna make sort of a C-shaped pattern as it goes up too, so that I have that nice C shape for my bird. And then I'm gonna have my bird body kind of go up and around and down. And that is going to be my bird's head, and I'm going to have his little head just kind of tucked in there. And there's his head. I think I'm going to keep adding some feathers to his tail here. There we go. Then I think he needs a wing, so I'm going to do that C shape again, and I'm going to tuck that little wing right there. Another C shape. I'll do some little feathers tucked in. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think we're gonna make him fancy though. So I'll add some little plumage on the top of his head, and there we go. All right, so then I think what I'll do is I will have him perched on a little branch that'll come down, and I'm gonna pretend that comes down and across here and then goes out the other side. Okay, so then I think I will have more plants continuing over here, some more leaves. Maybe I'll have some big beautiful leaves here, because big shapes I think are going to be a little bit more fun to paint. So I'm going to kind of repeat some of these shapes, maybe make some of my leaves a little bit bigger so that they're a little bit more interesting to paint. And I think I need to add some flowers because that'll give some color for me to paint. So I'm going to go ahead and add some flowers around here that I think will be fun to paint later. I kind of feel like I want to add a bird down here, but I'm not really sure about that. So maybe I'll come back to this drawing a little bit later once I have a few more ideas. But you guys, I think, should get the idea of how to start your drawing. So this week is going to be about drawing or getting your design drawn out. So make sure you start with a border and then have some sort of bird or other animal, and then some nature. So some plants, some flowers. I saw some really cool ferns, so maybe that's what I'll draw down here, is a really pretty fern, so that I can have some nice green color in here. And then next week come back and I will paint this with you, okay? So if you don't have paints at home, we are just using tempera paints today, or at school, not today, but we're using tempera paints. I'm mixing the tempera paint with a little water. That was a tip that was given to me from another art teacher, and she said that it makes the colors a lot brighter, and it does. I practiced a little bit at home, and it looks way better on brown paper if you add a little water. So if you're using acrylic paints or whatever kind of paints you can pick up at the dollar store, or you can pick up some paint from me, I should be able to put together a palette in a egg carton. That's what we will be using here next week. So let me know though the day of that you're going to pick it up, because I don't want the paint to dry out. So make sure it's going to be like the day you're going to paint or the next day. And you can have me put that in the office for you, and I'm happy to do that. If you don't have brown paper or a brown paper bag, I can also put that in the office for you too, or a white colored pencil or white crayon. If you ever need any supplies, please let me know, and I will do my best to get them to you. Because everything I have here, I should have extras for you. So please don't be shy about asking for stuff. I would much rather you guys ask me than just not do the project, right? Because that's no fun. I want you guys to do the stuff with us. Okay, so Amate Bark paintings. Here we go.